Every year, Samsung upgrades their new phones with a host of new features that they go to market with. New AI features, high resolution cameras, new chipsets, but there are so many hidden camera features that they sneak in there and then fail to tell anyone about. Fortunately, I know where to look. So today, we uncover them all. Let's go. Before we get into the camera stuff, I want to acknowledge just some of the smaller things that they've also snuck in here that I have mentioned in other videos, but I'll just make sure to highlight here as well. There's a new always on display, and this one here looks pretty much like your wallpaper has become your always on display. We've definitely seen it before somewhere else, but Samsung have brought it in there in their own way as well. So that's something to know about. There's a new toggle in here with the display while we're talking about it to adjust the color tone. So this will do it automatically as well. So depending on what lighting environment you're in, you turn this on and it'll adjust and use the cameras to recognize the lighting environment you're in to do something about it. Samsung have also removed the navigation bar to be hidden. You used to be able to hide the gesture hint, not anymore. Samsung have, I think, done this because of the new circle to search feature, but maybe they might bring it back in a good lock module. But as of now, there is no module in good lock that fixes this or changes this. You have to live with it the way it is. Something else I've noticed inside connected devices, there is a new toggle here to use your phone as a webcam. Now it says Galaxy tablet, so my understanding is it probably will only work with something like a Tab S9 Ultra. My Tab S9 Ultra has not got the 6.1 update to bring this in, so I'll update and see how that goes when that happens, but the toggle is in there and the function is ready to go. This is a good segue into the cameras themselves. There is obvious upgrades, which we tend to know about. There's the new 5x camera that's 50 megapixels. This can do a lot of things. This can take 50 megapixel 5x shots. This can take good photos between 5x and 10x. No matter what range you sort of go in between, it's going to take a crisp photo. You can record 8K at this new 5x magnification length, expanding the opportunity to go further with your content. You can't switch 8K magnification lens whilst you're recording, but the fact that you could do it at all is great. Okay, I want to start with photos and the new photo features within here, and then we'll dip into videos after that. Starting with photos. A quite small one, but something that could be fun to use is there's been a minor update to motion photos. Motion photos has always been that really cool, nifty feature since the Galaxy S7, where it captures 3 seconds of footage before your photo is taken and records it as a little motion photo video. What you can do now is you can actually go back into the edit part of the motion photo and turn it into a long exposure photo, which is kind of neat. And if you've got the right environment for it, like a rolling waves or a car going past, you can actually get some pretty cool shots out of this. What you'll also find too is you can set the start point of a motion photo and then you will upscale it. Because motion photo is pretty much just a screenshot and the resolution is low, but it actually upscales it to 14 megapixel, which is kind of nice. So 2 small updates there for motion photo that I thought you should know about. You get an extended zoom range with this new 5x camera, which we know about already. But Samsung has made sure that you can actually go into these magnification lenses a lot easier through its camera assistant. When we jump into camera assistant for the S24 Ultra, there's a couple of new things that you see. For photos, we're only going to focus on one area, and then for videos, we'll come back in here later. But the first thing you notice right at the top is the new digital zoom shortcuts. In here, it's got toggles for 2x, 10x, and 100x. Crazy. By default, the 2x is actually turned off and the 10x is turned on. And that's without Camera Assistant being installed. Install Camera Assistant from the Galaxy Store and you will be able to toggle on the 2x and the 100x. It can make the bottom of the camera feel a little bit overwhelming in photo mode. There's a lot there. And I think the 100x probably not the right button here. I would have preferred 30x as I will use that a lot more than I will 100. But it pretty much shows the full range, all the way from 0.6 inch ultra wide all the way up to 100. A lot of that zoom range is enabled by this 5x 50 megapixel camera. I actually have a full comparison of the S23 Ultra to the S24 Ultra, where I look at the quality of this 5x camera. So you can go back after this video and watch that comparison. Just know that you're getting an exceptional range of flexibility from this 5x camera, and compared to the S23 Ultra, it might be worth the upgrade. But check out that video. As a byproduct of this being a 50 megapixel 5x, you can take 50 megapixel 5x shots. At the top, when you toggle resolution, if you toggle it to 50, the 5x camera will stay there. And when you go into that 5x 50 megapixel, it can take some pretty good shots at that resolution. Something else this 5x has been incorporated into is single take. Samsung with single take has pretty much been my favorite camera feature of the last, I don't even know how many years, but they've made it better this year. What you can do in single take now is you can have the full range of cameras to switch between. You do have to choose it before you start taking the photos, but once you choose it, you have that zoom range locked in for that majority of single take. Before, with single take, you had to sit back or go closer. You have to get off your seat to go further. Whereas now with single take, you can stay in the one spot and get closer using any of the zooms on the back. It's really great too for ultra wide because you can be close to something and zoom out and get the full picture. So I like what they've done here with single take. It encompasses the new camera and the new processing that the phone is capable of. Something else too that the 5X camera you'll find it in is portrait mode. You can take portrait photos at this 5X range, expanding the range of portrait photos. You can go from 1, 2, 3, and 5. And the 5X portrait photos are quite staggering in their quality. Some people on Twitter said they look quite like DSLR-like. I don't quite buy that just yet, but the flexibility of the range means that you can be further away from someone and take a candid portrait photo. Great for your kids if you're a parent. You can really capture some amazing photos of your children using this 5X portrait photography. Samsung has enabled the 5X camera in Pro mode at 50 megapixels. So you can take a 50 megapixel Pro mode RAW shot, and you'll find this in Expert RAW as well. Expert RAW being Samsung's app for more pro focused photography. People who like the flexibility of processing and their own tinkering can use Expert RAW. So you've got the 5X 50 megapixel access in here, but Expert RAW also has a couple of other things. They've brought adaptive pixel into Expert RAW, and I think a lot of that is to the new resolution settings that you'll find in here. Samsung have put in a 24 megapixel option for the main camera in Expert RAW. In terms of the difference, the obvious thing being is it's going to give you more detail and probably still retain some of the better processing that lower resolutions can give you. So it's like this perfect middle ground where it's going to give you more detail and better processing for you to take away and do what you like with. You can see the detail difference along the 3 resolutions, and that, yeah, the 24 megapixel kind of just has this really nice touch about it.
Torres sent me out their new O-stand case and diamond shield protector to keep my S24 Ultra safe. The Torres O-stand combines a regular case, a phone stand, a MagSafe back, and a finger ring into one slim protective form factor. The S24 Ultra has this new flat front and back design, and the Torres O-stand protects the camera each side of Samsung's refined aesthetic with military-grade protection. The O-stand is called that because of its O-shaped ring that flips out from the back. This stand adds versatility to protection by allowing you to stand at vertical and horizontal, read books vertically, and capture moments with your family or watch the memories back horizontally and hands-free. That still isn't it for this all-in-one case. It has a MagSafe ring built in. You can keep your phone charged using Torres' MagSafe wireless charger, or stick it on a magnet that's next to your desk to keep your phone on display at all times. Samsung have reverted back to flat displays, making it easier than ever to apply screen protectors. Torres' simple 3-step process simplifies this even further. The Diamond Shield has all-round coverage with 9H hardness and is powered by aerospace material protection. With no color deviation, this will ensure a clear vision for your display. A concern of screen protectors is Samsung's ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, but with the Torres Diamond Shield, it has a high sensitivity of 0.04 seconds to enable fast unlocking as well as smooth S Pen input. Protect your S24 Ultra from the start and don't make the same mistake I did last year. So use the link in the description to grab your case, and thank you to Torres for sponsoring this video.
Video for the S24 Ultra is where you're going to find pretty much all of the focus for Samsung's software improvements. Starting in standard video mode, Samsung have enabled 4K 60 across all of the lenses, which was there on the S23 Ultra, but you now can switch between them whilst you're recording. And it's quite nice and smooth the way it switches whilst you're recording as well. So again, it just opens up that flexibility of video with the S24 Ultra. And something that we weren't told about, but it's nice to know it's there. But this is the little things that you probably won't find anywhere else, and that is an update to Samsung's auto framing. Auto framing was introduced back with the foldable series, I don't even know how many years ago now, and it's just slowly evolved over time, but kind of hit a point where it didn't really do much more for a few years. This year that changes. Auto framing now with the S24 Ultra, not only can you choose the different cameras you want to start from, but you can also do it in 4K. It was always limited to full HD before, whereas now in 4K 30 resolution, you can have auto framing turned on. The benefits to this are that when you're actually recording something like on a tripod, it's going to capture more detail. Full HD, it lost a lot, and whilst it was functional and useful in certain situations, this opens up and expands on that. I'm very excited to get my teeth into this as I use it more, because I think for me, I play with my son a lot in the backyard, and having different zoom lengths to start with, then having auto framing be able to follow me around at 4K, nice. Samsung have also enabled us to zoom in portrait video mode. So before you were fixed to either 1x or 3x and you had to start. Last year they updated it to 4K portrait video. This year they've updated it so you can actually zoom whilst you're recording. What I really like about that is that you have flexibility when you record. Obviously with kids, it's very hard to keep them still. So if they're running around and you want to follow them with put that sort of depth effect on, this is a great way to do it. I don't want to say it's quite perfect just yet, especially when you go into 3 times. It sort of isn't quite getting the background separation right. But at 1 times and 2 times, it's quite nice. So hopefully they refine this as the year progresses. When you head into the More tab, there's actually a host of differences that you will find. Starting with Pro Video mode, you can use the 5x and 8K in Pro Video, which I thought is a really nice touch, meaning you have more control over the video's output, and you can use the 5x camera at the same time for 8K. In Pro Video mode 2, you can shoot 4K at 120 frames per second. That is impressive. It's actually almost too fast, if you ask me. Watching it back, the fluidity of the footage is mind-boggling. But what I like about it is the flexibility to then change it into slower speeds afterwards. You can use either the wide or the ultra wide with this 4K 120, which is again a nice touch. I would have liked it to be on all of the cameras, but not to be at the moment. It just means you have that flexibility in post to be able to slow it down. Samsung have also brought this into Samsung's slow motion mode, where you can actually toggle it to 4K 120 in slow-mo. Quite nice to have that high resolution at that slower speed. Gives you a really nice output. What you won't find in here is Samsung's super slow-mo. Samsung have ditched it. Don't ask me why. I mean, I can only imagine it's because 1, they put absolutely zero attention into it since it was released with the Galaxy S9. And 2, I would say their usage data showcases that no one really used it. So why put attention on it? I like that the slow-mo has been improved with 4K, so I think that's where Samsung's attention should go. Another feature you won't find in here is Director's View. And that is because Samsung haven't ditched it, they've replaced it with something better. At first I was skeptical because I saw dual recording and I remember that being a feature on some of the older phones and it wasn't very capable, but this dual recording is more capable than ever. Let's talk about it. Director's View last year was limited to full HD. So basically the way it worked is you had a live preview of 3 rear cameras and it recorded the selfie camera at the same time. You could save them as one video or you could save them as individual videos and it'll output the selfie video and the rear camera. And then you could make a guess as to when you wanted to zoom in during recording. Dual recording is different. Before you start recording, you actually select 2 cameras you would like it to record. It can be a selfie and a rear camera, or 2 rear cameras. So what you can do then is save them as separate videos, and you can select a wide angle and a telephoto, for example. And you can also do it in 4K. Samsung have upped the resolution from Full HD to 4K, meaning that you can take 2 videos at the same time, wide angle and telephoto, in 4K and save them as separate videos. This is going to be wild to use. I'm already imagining the situations I'm able to use this in. I used it at SeaWorld during the dolphin show. I was able to sort of have the wide angle shot and the cropped in shot recorded at the same time. But I'm just imagining when at my son's football training, being able to sit there and use the wide angle shot to capture a bigger picture and then follow him around a bit more closely with the telephoto. It's going to absolutely open up avenues for how you capture content using the phone. And I'm really surprised Samsung didn't talk about it because it is a true game changer for people who like to capture content. Let me know if you see yourself using it. 100%, I'm going to be all over it. In terms of video settings, there's no real extra codecs that Samsung have enabled here, so there's no log that you can record in or anything like that, no recording to SSDs, nothing fancy like that. It's pretty much just on device, but the functions that this features have enabled, it's really going to open up a lot of doors for a lot of people. But as I said all that, The camera assistant has enabled some video features, which I think will excite creators. The first one is something to do with depth of field adapters. I myself personally don't quite know what this is about. It's apparently correcting images that get flipped by these adapters. Actually, when I turned this on, I noticed that in pro video mode, the video is upside down. So I don't know what that's all about. I'll probably have a bit of a play around with it and figure it out. But if someone can tell me in the comments, let me know, because I turned it off and then went back the right way. Maybe it's something I should have on if I'm recording in pro video mode, because that's where it works. Tied into that is anamorphic lens correction. And this is where you have an external lens attached that's like an anamorphic wide angle lens. This will attempt to correct it with 2 different steps here, 2 different toggles that you can enable. I don't have one, so I couldn't test it, but it's in there if you have one yourself. What I'm excited for though here is the audio monitoring. I think this is actually going to work really well if you're recording video using the onboard microphone. You can have your buds in and monitor the sound that's coming out from the video you're recording. Whether it be buds or whether it be a USB microphone, it doesn't really matter. The option is there and you can monitor real time the audio levels that you're outputting. I'm just going to talk. Whoa, I can hear myself. That's crazy. Huh. Well, that works. I think that could help with content creation a lot if you're someone who uses your phone to create, like I do. So that's pretty much all of the nice little S24 Ultra features that have been in there that no one's really talking about. If there's any others that you think I haven't covered, let me know below, but I think got them all. If you want to help out the channel, you can actually go back and watch all of my S24 content that I've already put together, including a full comparison to the S23 Ultra. I do have a complete Ultra comparison coming up, because I've gone and bought everything from the S20 Ultra all the way through to the S24 and everything in between, because I think there's something to be had there and talk about Samsung Ultra lineup over the years. Make sure you subscribe for that. Between now and my next video, you can come find me on my socials. I'm on Twitter/X and also on Instagram. I'll see you in the next one. Yo!